Hi Flosstube! Welcome to my channel, Nicky Noodle Stitching. My name is Nicky and today is the 25th of May 2021. This is my 8th Flosstube, I think it is, which is pretty amazing. Thank you to everybody who's joining me today and having a little watch to see what I've been up to. Getting right into it. Let's just get stuck in. I thought there's been quite a buzz lately about some quilting, so I thought I'd just show you some stuff that I've made in the past. I've got quite a few quilt tops finished. They're over in that cupboard over there actually, just the quilt tops. I'm a real top maker and then I send it off to have someone else quilt it for me. I think it's about time that I got the tops quilted. So I've pulled this one out, and this is a little quilt that I made a few years ago, and this is English paper pieced. I'll just undo it. And this is a Sue Daly pattern. Some of you may have heard of Sue Daly. She's an Australian lady who designs some really pretty, I'll just stand up so you can see. Some really pretty English paper pieced patterns. So that's that one. It's hard to see it all. So that's that one. So it's all just English paper pieced, and then it's been the pretty parts have just been appliqued to the base fabric. So these are all just hand appliqued on. And it's got some mitered corners and that sort of thing. So that was a lot of fun. So I'll get that quilted and I'll have that custom quilted so that there's some quilting designs in these blank spaces. So that will make that look quite pretty. So I'll show you that once I get it back from the quilter. I'm quite excited to have that one done. Hold please. Okay. While I've had the sewing machine out, speaking of sewing machines and speaking of other topics that seem to be catching people's interest at the moment, what's the buzz with featherweight Singer sewing machines? They, Miss Laurie Holt, I think, is influencing everybody to go out and snavel a featherweight. So after I watched Nicole's needlework video the other day, and she showed her new featherweight machine, and I thought, that looks very similar to the old sewing machine that I bought from my old neighbours a few years ago. And I went into the bottom of my wardrobe under all the dust and shoes and mould and everything else. And I dug out this old sewing machine that I bought for very little. Anyway, I pulled it out and this is what I found. She's not a featherweight. She's a 99K model apparently. She's an electric Singer sewing machine, but very similar in style to a featherweight. So I was quite excited when I pulled her out. So I posted a picture on Instagram and Laurie, Textilist, sent me a message and she said, send me some information about its serial number and I can tell you how old it is. So I did that and I found out through Laurie. Thank you very much, Laurie, for reaching out and doing that for me. It was quite fun. This girl was manufactured in Scotland in 1960. So she's not that old, but I'm still chuffed to have her. I think she's really special. So I've turfed Tina the Bonina at the moment, put her elsewhere and put this one. Speaking of Tina Bonina and naming sewing machines, which I know some people don't like naming their machines, but I do. I name my sewing machines. And Laurie said to me, what are you going to name your sewing machine? Because I'd hardly taken her out of the old box, let alone thought about naming it. Anyway, I said to Don, my husband, what do you think would be a good name for this old sewing machine? And he said, I think it should be Diana. And I was like, what? Diana? He said, yeah, as in Diana Ross, the singer. So anyway, this is now known as Diana. So please everybody meet Diana. Diana Ross, the singer. Sewing machine. Anyway, silly. I'm out of breath. Too much talking. Okay, now speaking of sewing machines, I haven't used this yet because it needs a bit of a zhuzh up, a clean and an oil and that sort of stuff. But I had Tina the Bonina out, and I started making some project bags, and I showed you these mini charm squares in the little bundles a few weeks ago, and I've just turned those into the beginnings of a project bag. So that's the first one. I can't remember what set they're from, sorry, or the designer. Sorry, designer. I haven't got a memory for that sort of stuff. Oh, this one I remember. This one I've pieced and I've quilted this one. This is a Blackbird range of fabrics. I can't remember the name, just that I know it's Blackbird. And that's very pretty. So that's that. So 2 project bags underway. I've run out of project bags. I've got too many whips on the go now. I've run out of project bags for them. Okay, I also wanted to show you some previous finishes. So I've got a couple here that Ted, my cat, is standing beside me, or behind the camera actually, looking at me. If you hear purring, it's him. He might come and stick his bum in the camera in a minute. Sorry in advance. Okay, Ooh La La, the Blackbird Designs Ooh La La book. This was one of the very first things I stitched after I returned to cross stitching about 18 months ago or so. And I can't remember the design, I didn't pull the book, but this is what I did, this little sampler. And I used all of the call for DMCs for this. So it's got something, I think it's got something, the name is something like poulet something, like a pullet, a chicken. So there's a chicken. Now Ted's drinking my water. Bloody cat. Anyway, so that was that one. It's got walnut shells in it, but not enough. It's a bit baggy. I guess I could always stuff a few more shells in there. And then I did, can you hear that? He's got his face in my water having a drink. Okay, I did this one. And again, I can't remember the name of this one. This is out of the Ooh La La book. I stitched this on I think it's, the name of the fabric is Earthen, I think, from Picture This Plus. It's got a real pink hue to it. And it did have a French, it's got a French name, I think, that meant red bird. And because I'm not French, I can't speak French. I can barely speak Aussie some days. I changed it to red bird. And that's that one. And I think I stitched that one in all of the called for over-dyed cottons. Yeah, and that was a pretty one. And I just put a really cute little homespunny fabric on that one at the back and stuffed it with walnut shells again. So that's that one. So they're old finishes. I have had a Stitchy Finish, just a small one, and that's this little GGR chart. Petite Fille en Rouge, I believe it's pronounced. Thank you to all of my watchers, my viewers who gave me some tips on how to pronounce this, the name of this one. So again, I stitched this one using, I think, mostly the called for threads, but I did change the pink in this flower because the called for colour was very close to the fabric colour. And the fabric is a 36 count sepia from Number12 Stitch Co. from Nicola. So that's that one. And, oops, and another fully finished object. I made my little, what's this one called? Songbird Whistles from the Blackbird Sewing Club book. This one. And that's the design. It's a really beautiful one, like all blackbirds are. And I just finished it into a little drum. And that's just on the top is some of that beautiful wool that I bought from the home patch in Bathurst. I need Liz's Lazy Susan In 2021, beautiful peacock. So that's really pretty. I was quite happy with that. So that's that one. And I stuffed that one entirely with walnut shells. Other drums I've made, I've put part walnut shells and part, what's the fluffy white stuff called? Like toy fill, that sort of stuff. But I prefer just the whole lot with walnut shells. It just gives it a nice heft, and it just keeps the edges all nice and straight and solid looking. So that's that one. Okie dokie. Now I have got my book of days. I'm loving this thing. I'm loving all the fun stickers. And I did go and I got myself some new sparkly pens to write with. I'll show you April, because April's my favourite month so far with all the pretty stickers. Pretty, pretty. Anyway, down the rabbit holes. Okay, so works in progress, whips. I did, for the month of May, I decided to participate in Stitch Sania. So the intention was to start some new projects on the weekends and then continue working on older whips through the week. And I've pretty well stuck to that plan, which is pretty amazing given I'm hopeless at plans. The only exception is that last weekend I didn't start any new projects because I was really loving what I was working on, and one of my older whips was calling to me. So I just thought I'll just continue to work on those rather than starting anything new. So going back to the beginning of May, I'll just show you what I've worked on. The very first thing was, and I'm sorry it's a black and white copy, I don't have a colour printout of this one. This is Hands Across the Seas, Jessie Watson, 1816. And this is part of the Jessie Watson Autism Stitch Along with Barbara from Raspberry Stitcher. This is a really fun sale that I'm participating in. And we've done a couple of Zoom calls as well to stitch together, which has been really, really fun. I've met some other Flosstubers on there and some other ladies who are all participating in this great sale. So that's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And so this is where I'm up to with Jessie. She's quite petite, but that's good. I like smaller ones because it gives me more room on the wall to put lots of other ones. So this is Jessie Watson. This one, I think the chart calls for either Veriswire Silks or DMC, and I decided to do a overdyed cotton conversion. So I pulled all of the called for DMC and just swapped it out with overdyeds that I thought were a good match. And so that's that one. That's where I'm up to with Jessie. I've done the J of her name. And that's it. So she's really pretty. And this is getting stitched on a 40 count, I think it's iced chocolate from Jay's X Stitch, or Jay's Cross Stitch on Etsy. Jay and Jem are the sellers on that site, and they're based in Australia, and they do beautiful, beautiful linens. So that's Jessie. The next weekend, so that must have been the end of April that I worked on Jessie. It's been a while since I've done a Flosstube. I don't know what's been going on. Life's been busy as it is for everybody. Okay, so the very first weekend in May, Brenda and Laura hosted the Blackbird Designs weekend sale, or BBD weekend sale. And I decided to start this one with Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. So we started this really cute little design. It's called the Bee Skep, and it's in the Agnes Platt Strawberry Sampler book. This one. So this is the one that we decided to do. And I think it calls for a 30 count linen, so it's quite a large. Is it 30? Yeah, it calls for a 30 count vintage grey by R&R, but I didn't have that. Plus I prefer a 40 count, just I like the size of the stitching. So that's where I'm up to with that sweet little one. Here comes the cat. Hello, Ted. Hello. So that's that little one. Keep on moving. That's it. Oh, now he's lying on all my stitching. All my freshly ironed neat pile. Oh, he's a turd. Anyway, so that's the bee skip. He's purring his head off. He's so cheeky. Anyway, so you can see here I changed the spelling of the word labour to the Queen's English version of labour. Have I got lipstick on my teeth? I'm sorry. Hold, please. I'm such a lady. Wouldn't want to be like Ellen. I love you, Ellen. Anyway. So there she is. And the little brick house is so fun to do. And I did this because it called for a 30 count linen. It called for 2 strands of thread over 2 threads of linen. But because I'm doing it on 40, I'm doing it 1 over 2. And this little star medallion up here was supposed to be in a blended thread. So 1 colour and 2 different colours. So I just went to my stash and pulled something that I thought looked pretty similar to the picture. I can't remember what it was, the colour. Anyway, that's that one. Now Ted, I'm gonna have to move you, puss. There you go. Okay, so as you can see, I worked on that one for quite a while after I started it, because that was a lot of fun to do, and I just couldn't put it down. The next weekend I started this gorgeous one. I just love this little sampler. LW Motif Sampler 1821 by Samplers Not Forgotten. So that was my next start. And I'm stitching this one again on a 40 count Spun Sugar by Jay's Cross Stitch. And this is going to be such a sweet little thing. I think that is the full width across the bottom, maybe a little bit further to go. And that's that one. The colours on this one are just so pretty. I just love this one. And that linen is really pretty. It's the palest pink, pale pink, and it's a nice big piece. So, but I just thought the colours went really well on that. It really pops on that piece of fabric. So that's that one. And I worked on that for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, 4 days, something like that. Okay. And I've got a note in my book of days about Brenda. Brenda, I can't imagine you'd watch my videos, but if you do, I just want to let you know that I'm thinking of you and sending you big healing thoughts and big hugs, big virtual hugs, and I hope you feel lots better really soon. Okay, next one I worked on, this was an older whip, so this was one of the things that I had planned to stitch on, and amazingly I did it. This is Miss Lucy Calcart 1826, and I really have enjoyed working on this one again. I've only worked on it for a couple of extra days. This one's a big one. Oh, and I was an idiot. It pays to read the chart, doesn't it? This top border I did just recently. I stitched it across, stitch, got to the other side and thought, oh, that doesn't line up very well. And then I pulled the chart out and it had all these big warning signs. Warning, warning, there's 2 extra stitches here. I didn't see that, did I? So I'm gonna have to go and undo. Oh, Ted. Keep going. Oh, he's purring. Oh, scratched my eyeballs out. Anyway, so I've got to unpick that whole one. I think it's about the 2 extra stitches the little girl put at the top in the middle. So I'm going to have to unpick about half of that. No, that's okay. That happens. And the other thing that I did was I finished that bottom border. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the colours in that. And I'm stitching this one just using all of the called for DMCs. So I just love the DMCs. They're just beautiful. That bloody cat's back again. And that's it. I still have to fill in the windows. Oh, and the other thing that I did is I filled in this crazy looking, I don't know what this is supposed to be, with that crowned bird sitting on the top. So I finished that off as well. So I'm just chipping away on this one. There seem to be some samplers that I stitch that just, no matter how much work I put in, they just don't go very fast. They're just pretty slow going. That's one of them, but I guess it is pretty big. Right, that's that one. The next one was, this is a really fun stitch along, but there are quite a number of people working on this one. This is one that Betsy and I started, or decided to start on the 15th of May as part of our Stitch Sania plans. And this is a modern folk embroidery, the Genius Jacob, Joan Sands 1839, and it's a Scottish sampler. So we decided to start this one, and lo and behold, we had Laura, the serial starter, Modern Mozart on Instagram, and Ellen Reed and Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, and Gwyneth from Curling Stones and X Stitches, and Kathy Herden from Tassie, Crazy Kathy from Tassie. Hi Kathy. And who have I missed? I think that's all of us. So we're all doing a stitch along with this one. And we had a really fun Zoom catch up to start or to work on this particular sampler together. And that was just so fun. So that's that one. Just loved it. The beautiful border. Anyway, I'll show you where I'm up to. I worked on this again for another week because I couldn't put it down. And that's where I'm up to with this one. So again, this is a 40 count. Oh, I had to write this one down because I couldn't remember. This is a 40 count, where have I written it? Salted caramel, this one, from Number12 Stitch Co. And it is just the most perfect sampler colour. I just love this colour. Now I've got a dog under my feet. Anyway, that's what you get for living in a menagerie. So they're my little bottom flowers. Joan's name starting to appear in the scaffolding, and the lettering is starting to come through too. But that one's just a really sweet little sampler. And a really cute tealy blue house, which I think is quite unique to anything else I've stitched anyway. So that's that one. It's a real sweetie. Okay, and then when I had enough of Joan, Emily was calling me. So this is Emily Harbin from Whilst Ira Snaps. So I pulled this one back out and I had a look at her and I thought, that doesn't look quite right. And again, I'd made a mistake in the border. So I had stitched all of the bottom, both two sides up, and that's when I looked at it. I thought that's not right. So I'd made a counting error down here. It seems I can't count to 8, I can only count to 7. Whoops. So I had to undo the whole left side of the border. So luckily that didn't take very long. And I re-stitched it, and then I've made some more progress on that one. So this is Emily. I'm stitching her on a 40 count rain cloud from Number12 Stitch Co. And that's what she looks like. So Emily Yourself Haben. And you can see I'm using 2 silks for this one. It's got a nice bit of variegation in the yellow. That's called Old Gold. That's a water lily, Caron water lily. And the green is Forest Green from Gloriana. So, and now I just was working on this little fun little zigzaggy line last night. So that's that. That's Emily Haben. So that's all my stitching in the last 3 or 4 weeks, or however how long it's been since I did my last Flosstube. So I've been working away on that. Next thing I wanted to show you is some stitchy kindness that I did receive. My friend Margie, who I sometimes go sewing with, doing patchwork things, she left me a really pretty little surprise in my mailbox, and it was these beautiful, I guess you'd call it a hank, of these beautiful threads. So all these different colours of blue, and there's some really beautiful colours, really deep tealy blues and some sky blues, and it's got a really beautiful luster to it. It's just gorgeous. I don't know, it doesn't have a tag or anything on it, but that's that beautiful one. She said, oh, I don't know if you can use it, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll find something to stitch from that. And there was this one as well, which this one's got, you can see some beautiful coral pink and some really gorgeous greens in there. So that was a really lovely surprise to find in my mailbox from Margie. So thank you so much, Margie. I appreciate that. And then, oh my goodness, I was chuffed. Chuffed is my word of the day. Carol Saltbox Stitcher contacted me one day, and she said, if ever you can't find any charts and you'd like me to order some for you, just let me know. So I thought, right, I'll take her up on that, because there's a couple of with thy needle and thread charts that I've always wanted to stitch but could never get my hands on them here in Australia. So I got in contact with Carol and said, oh, if you don't mind. And she said, no, not at all. So she ordered the couple of charts that I was after, and then she just sent them to me as a gift. Thank you, Carol. Queen Carol. These have been touched by Carol. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so the first one is Harriet Elizabeth Co. I think you can see that. I don't need to take that one out. And this is Carol's red wine sampler. I believe she spilt red wine on it. Plonker. Is that what you are, Carol? Didn't someone leave a comment on your Flosstube to say that you look like you were drunk? How rude. People are horrible. I just think that's gorgeous. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So, I mean, I'm sure you can get them here in Australia every now and again, but I've never been quick enough to snaffle it. So she got that one for me. And then the other one that she got for me was this one, which is this pink sparrow sampler. And again, I see this on her wall when she's filming her Flosstubes, and I just love it. Just love it. So there's another one from Carol. So I'm very, very pleased to have those ones. So that was Stitchy Kindness. That was really sweet, really lovely. Right, now on to haul. First thing I'll show you is, sorry about the plastic bag, I haven't learnt, have I? I ordered some silk from Silks for You. And I got this. This is a hank of red. Duh. It's a hank of... I don't know if it's got a number. Oh, there we go. PR034. So that's what I ordered. And it's a really, it's almost like a deep burgundy rather than a like a schoolhouse red or something like that. That's quite a red, but this is a maroon. So, but it's beautiful, and there's a lot of it there. It's a big hank. So that was one thing I got in the mail. I got my new 6 threads from my Threads in Time Weeks Dye Works Club. So Threads in Time is a embroidery store in Hobart in Tasmania. So that's that one, and the colours on this one, Calypso, that's cool. That's Mardi Gras colours, that's very cool. Cantaloupe, Caper, Cape Cod, Capri and Caribbean. So that's fun. I got some more linen from Jay's X Stitch. This one's called Bush Tea. So that's a really nice one. I think that will go really nicely with the red, the Silks For You red. I think that will look really nice on there. And this one is a larger piece of iced chocolate. That's the one I'm stitching Jessie Watson on, and I just really loved it. So I got a larger piece of that one for another sampler down the track, just for my stash. So that's that one. I also got Ellen from With My Needle. She posted on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is Needleworker Ellen. She posted she was going to do a new birthday start for her birthday in June, and it's an Ellen sampler. And when I saw it, I just fell in love, and I thought, right, I've got to have that. So I ordered the chart from the Cruel Goblin, and it's a GGR chart. It's, what's it called? Ellen Norris 1826. And there's quite a few people going to participate in Ellen's stitch along. I was watching Emily C just a little bit earlier, and she's bought the chart too, and so has Ellen Reid from Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. So that is going to be a very fun sell or start along for me anyway, probably. But I just really love it. Look at that cool house. And I understand this one calls for DMC. So that's pretty cool. So I just love that one. And Ellen and I had a little bit of a chat after I sort of said, oh, I'm keen to do that one. I said to her that my birthday's in early June as well. So this is a June baby stitch along. So that's that one. So that might even look nice on the iced chocolate. I'll set that aside, kit that up. Oh, this I also did. I normally make my own project bags, but I saw this one in the Number12 Stitch Co Etsy store, and I thought I've got to have that because it's just beautiful. It looks like it's been English paper pieced or hand appliqued, and I understand this is a Laurie Holt fabric, so I just thought I'm just going to buy that because it's just so beautiful. And Nicola, like her linen and everything else that she sells in her shop, is just so beautiful. Look, it's even got a little doodad to hang your threads or your scissors or whatever you want to put on there. Bag of chocolate, bag of lollies. And I've already got something in here that's a bit special. This is a project that I've been slowly kitting up for the last little while. This is a Reflet Dessoir. I don't know if I've shown you guys this one before. This is a Reflet Dessoir chart called Marie Cornu. And I just think it's so beautiful. Maybe I have shown it, I can't remember. but this beautiful, looks like a moth to me, could be a butterfly, and the little horse and a kitty cat, puppy dogs, and the beautiful French lettering. I think it's French. Is it French? Anyway, so it's got a ton of colours and it calls for a Verosoir silk. So and it has also got a DMC conversion as well. And I originally started to kit it up with DMC, but then I thought this is one of those really special charts that I really should stitch it in the silk. So it was Mother's Day here in early May, I think it was the 9th, and I asked for some of the silks for Mum's Day. So I have started to get the silk. I didn't buy all of them because it was, sorry, my husband and the kids didn't buy all of them because that was just a lot, but there's the start. Can you see them in the little bag? They're just the prettiest colour. Look at that beautiful purple lilac-y colour. It's got black and reds and pinks and blues. So, and a lot of them have multiple skeins as well. So that's a beautiful one. So that's gorgeous. And my husband paid for it. I ordered it from Alison Cole Embroidery in Victoria for any Aussies looking for another source of supplies. And I think I'm going to stitch it on this piece of 40 count Nicky Noodle fabric. I dyed this one myself. I just dunked it in I bought a number of RIT dyes, and I just sort of made up a bit of a concoction with a splash of this and a splash of that, and that's what it came out with. It's not really showing up very well on the camera, but it's a really light tan. And I just thought it went really well with all of these beautiful threads and the chart. So I wanted something quite light because the lettering is quite light. There's actually a row of lettering up here. Sorry, Betsy. So immature. She brings out the worst in me, I tell you. Anyway, so there's a really light row of letters up here, and I thought if I use a fairly light fabric, you might be able to see that. But anyway, so that's those. So I don't know when I'm going to start it. I might start it soon. Just whenever it calls to me, I guess. So that's that one. So that's a very special bag. I might need insurance for that one. Okay. So the very last thing that I wanted to do was to announce the winner chicken dinner from the fabulous giveaway that I spoke about on my last Flosstube. So this is a really beautiful little pack that Joe from Mojo Stitches has put together for me to give away to one of you guys. And I asked you all if you're interested in receiving this delicious pack. If there's 2 charts and the beautiful threads to go with one of them. So it's this beauty, the red work sampler, and that calls for the Silks for You silk in that colour. So that's why I ordered that particular colour, so I can stitch that version of this chart. So that's that one. And then the Bushland Quakers as well. And this is the thread pack to stitch the Quakers. So I asked you to use the word friendship. And I was really delighted because there were 278 entries in that. So there you go, Joe. That's an indication of how much everybody really loved your charts. Everybody wanted an opportunity to win them. And I'm happy to say that the winner is Tina Whittingslow. So Tina, I will put a comment on your YouTube comment And if you could let me know via email or through Instagram what your address is, I'd be more than happy to send that along to you. Yay! Congratulations! Okay, everybody, that's it. That's another Flosstube done. I hope you are all having a really great month. Take care of each other. Give each other a hug, virtual hug if necessary. And I will see you next time. Bye, friends.